What do we say the biggest problem is out there? I know we got all kinds of problems, right? This issue and that issue. What's really the biggest problem? If you've been watching I'm Right here on the First TV for a while, you'll know the biggest problem is all the people who agree with us. You, me, the people who agree with the things we think, the things we say, yet they're not awake. They don't realize what's going on around them. They share our values, they share our wants, but they're not awake yet. They think everything's just kind of fine or a little different. But that brings us to our special tonight on the media. Why aren't those people awake? Are they all stupid? No, of course not. I'm sure some of them are stupid, but they're not all stupid. But they're not awake. You're awake. I'm awake. Why aren't they awake? Well, the simple answer is the American media. And I'll get to my sky is green theory here in a second, but I just want you to imagine something really quickly. I want you to imagine that we live in a little village somewhere. We're not in the United States. We're in some tiny village. 100 people live in this village. And there is somebody in this village, because everyone has different roles, right? You would have a chief, and you'd have a guy, he's in charge of the livestock, and everyone has different roles, right? But one guy, it's his job to pass the word along. Okay, so if there's some news for the village, this guy, it's his job to go disseminate that news everywhere. Hey, there's a rival tribe. They're on the way with axes and bows. They're coming to kill us. Get ready. Hey, it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Make sure you batten down the hatches. You got an election tomorrow. Show up. The guy whose job it is to pass down the word. Now imagine the chaos. Imagine the disaster that could be brought upon that village if that guy hated the village and actually wanted the village to burn, to end. Be crazy, right? Probably something he could pull off. After all, it's his job to pass the word. That's exactly what we have here in the United States of America. The American media, they're not biased, they're not left, they're not liberal, they're not broken, all these words the right will constantly use to describe the media. No, they're a hostile, insurrectionist force against this country that is absolutely, at this point in time, a national security threat, and their aim is to burn the country down. Now, back to your neighbor. Why won't he wake up? Why can't he wake up? Well, you see, I have this theory I've thrown around forever called the sky is green theory. And that theory is simply this. If the system, the media being a big part of the system, media, education, government, entertainment, all the different pillars that hold up your society, if the system wanted a huge percentage of the people to believe something that everyone can see plainly isn't true, they could still be able to pull it off. If they wanted to convince half the population the sky is green, they could do it. And you might say, I'm nuts. Jesse, they could never. Jesse, I'm looking up at the sky right now. It's clearly blue. People would never remember this. But you're wrong. You underestimate the power of propaganda. You underestimate the power of shame. You see, immediately there would be scientist after scientist. I went to MIT. I'm Dr. Nerd. I have 9,000 degrees. They'd be all over television every single night on the media. Well, it's a new scientific discovery. It's actually a trick by your eyes. If you add the pronouns or whatever the heck they call those things, you'll find out the sky is green. They'd make Hollywood movies and they'd color the sky green. Your child's social studies teacher, college professor, would force your child to acknowledge the greenness of the sky or they wouldn't be able to graduate. Your kid's favorite or maybe your favorite actor, actress, sports star that I have a video up on Instagram. Hey guys, get ready for the Super Bowl. Just can't believe the green sky. Over and over and over and over and over again so that anywhere a normal person looked, again, I'm not talking tip of the spear type person like you, a normal person, anywhere they looked, they would get barraged with over and over and over again, lie after lie after lie. And soon, a huge portion of this population, 50%, would believe it. And beyond the 50%, this is the reality of the sky is green theory. And the media is really super at fault for this. The people who didn't believe it, many, many people who didn't believe it, would go along with it anyway because they didn't want to be shamed by friends and family and coworkers on social media, in real life. Everyone gathers at a party this Friday. Everyone's got a beer, eating some Triscuits and cheese in the kitchen because Triscuits and cheese is delicious. And everybody gathers around. Man, can you believe that about the green sky? Oh, I know, I saw it on the news. Hey, I saw a doctor do it. Whoa, it's crazy. The scientists are all saying it, and there you are in the corner. It doesn't look green. Well, just keep quiet. I don't want to get yelled at. That's what we have in this country. The American media brings lies on purpose to the front door of your normal friend, and that's why he can't wake up, because his entire world is a lie and he doesn't know it. You remember the Black Lives Matter rally? People said the American media covered for all the Black Lives Matter Antifa filth as they were burning down American cities. They didn't cover for them. They cheered for them.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists, and they've taken a principled stand to stand against white supremacists and white nationalists wherever they may show up.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
It says it right in the name, Antifa, anti-fascism, which is what they were there fighting. Listen, there's, no organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
That's how they covered Black Lives Matter and Antifa, street communists murdering people, torching buildings, destroying lives. That's how they chose to cover those stories. Why? Because they're all on the same side. The American media wants the same thing Black Lives Matter wants. They want the same thing Antifa wants. They all think America's evil and sucks and America should be burnt to the ground. So when they see a bunch of street animals burning down a Foot Locker after looting the newest set of Jordans, the American media, they don't choose to cover for it. Before they go on camera, they're cheering it. Woohoo! This is nice, guys. Screw America. And then they go on TV and do show me in the Constitution. And that's why they cover you the way they cover you.
Is that messaging, calling Republicans extremist, enough, or do Democrats need to do more than that?
We have to stop separating the GOP from right-wing extremists. I mean, the party has morphed into one.
Is it as obvious as it seems that domestic violent extremists are an important part of the voting coalition on the right? I mean, what is the structural impediment to pardoning the homeland against domestic violent extremism?
People like DeSantis, people like this judge, they are extremists.
You almost have to admire how they numb us to their extremism.
But can you be full-throated about the reality? Can you call out GOP extremism for what it is?
See, the BLM Antifa people, they get covered the way they get covered because the media agrees with them. You get covered, you get called an extremist, a Nazi, a white supremacist, because that's what the media thinks. They think you're an enemy of the state. That's just a fact. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Joe Biden is president for several reasons. One of those reasons is the American people were not made aware that the president, now President Joe Biden, is intimately involved with his son and has been in several different business ventures with hostile foreign powers. And not only is that incredible national security threat a reality, the media covered it up for you, and we knew for a fact what I just said was true before the election because his crackhead son left his laptop at a laptop repair shop. And the American media, as you're about to see, they aren't biased, they aren't left, they aren't liberal, they aren't leaning this way. They're actively campaigning on behalf of the communists and against you as they covered for Hunter.
There's no evidence that Hunter Biden has done anything wrong.
There is no evidence of any wrongdoing between by Joe Biden, or by Hunter Biden.
There's no evidence that Joe Biden actually did anything wrong or did anything to sway things in Hunter Biden's favor. He's denied that his son ever lobbied him for anything. There is nothing wrong that Vice President Biden did.
President Trump has falsely accused your son of doing something wrong while serving on a company board in Ukraine. I want to point out there's no evidence of wrongdoing by either one of you.
We have looked, lots of outlets have looked.
Hunter Biden did nothing wrong. Vice President Biden did nothing wrong. And every single media outlet has said that there's no there to these allegations, lies, and smears.
I've never read a memoir like this one before. This is Hunter Biden's book, Beautiful Things. It's breathtaking.
We do have an enemy of the state operating within the borders of this country, but it's not you, it's the American media.
Support the First TV today and get instant access to exclusive specials like Who is Ron DeSantis, the history of FBI scandals, and America's worst presidents. Visit thefirsttv.com/support or download the First TV app to become a supporter and start watching today.